I guess they don't teach you this in city council school.
No, it's obviously somewhat of a unique situation. You know, one of the things I've been doing recently is going back, being a historian, looking at what communities did back in 1918 during the Spanish influenza, which has been interesting. And the key lesson from what has happened then and what we should be looking at now is this truly is going to be a community effort. Everybody has to get on board and assist. I mean, we are going to do everything we can to protect the community. I mean, police are still on there, fire's out there, public works still picking up trash. But at some point, we're going to need the community's help in letting us know when things happen with regards to shut-ins, with regards to incidents and occurrences in neighborhoods. We need that information, and right now, the only source of it that we have is the community itself. And also with regards to self-policing. Follow the rules. I mean, it's for your protection. And if you see something that is contrary to that, you need to let us know. But again, ultimately, this is going to be a community effort. Everybody's going to have to pitch in.
And we all are still learning things. I just learned this morning it's 10 patrons and also outside counts. I didn't know that.
That is correct. And I've been strolling downtown and plan on being here on mornings if anybody's got any questions. But you're right. Some of the directions initially were 10 people as opposed to 10 patrons, and that was squared away at our last meeting on Friday, as well as clarifying it's 10 patrons inside and out, because a lot of restaurants, of course, have outside seating.
Yeah. I guess the next thing for city council or at some point is just figuring the cost of all of this. It's still too early to know.
I'm hoping and having conversations with staff, and I want to give kudos to the staff. They're working really hard on this, in a unique situation for them, that a lot of the initial uncertainty, I'll put it that way, of the last week or so is beginning to get cleared up. I think we are in the coming weeks going to start being a little bit more attuned to what the issues, that the problems we're causing within the community. And again, this is an issue of public safety, and certain actions will have to be taken at points. But I think we can, consider what's going on with the business community, which is hurting. They're concerned about money flow and everything else, and we should do something to help them in this time. But understand, when they're not, or we're not getting funding, that also affects us with regards to police and fire. And the city manager, I know, is hunkered down this weekend. Everybody was happy that Congress of the United States decided to act and put out money, but now the question is, how is that money allocated and what strings are attached to it? And I know we're trying to work through that, and we're trying to work through the latest coming out of the state. So I'm hopeful that this week there'll be a lot more clarity coming out, one, and two, there'll be a lot more outreach from City Hall and hopefully I know my council colleagues also, and getting information out that needs to get out, receiving information, which is pretty much why I sit here in the mornings, is to receive. I've had a lot of good conversations with business owners and just people in general about what's going on and what the rules and regulations are and how to proceed.
So you mentioned just being the historian you are and looking back, was what going on now similar to what happened back in the Spanish flu days?
Actually, what happened back then, it really became a truly community effort. You had the Chamber of Commerce involved, you had business involved, you had the schools involved, all coming together and operating together. You had neighborhood watch programs and things of that nature. You had block captains. A lot of things that were very helpful. And again, it's the information going out and coming back. And I'm hoping we're going to spend a lot more time looking at rebuilding some of those connections with the community through the civic associations and other social service organizations. Again, we have shut-ins. How do you deal with that situation? And there are resources out there, and right now we are in the process of identifying what's out there and hopefully start coordinating that both within the government and those services to help the community deal with this. But again, ultimately, the community's got a big role to play too in helping us out.
It's interesting. This happens at a time when we're with an election coming up, and apparently the election will go forward, and people are advised, or they're encouraged to vote absentee.
Right now, you can go online and you're supposed to not note illness because you have had the reason.
Yeah.
And then you have until the 28th of April to put it in. The interesting thing is I've gotten some individuals that I have chatted with who've talked about, well, wait a minute, every time I've signed everything up and I put illness, and then they said, copy this form and have your doctor sign it. And they go, what is that?
Yeah.
So obviously there is going to be glitches in the system, and all we can do is deal with them as they come up and ask the community to be patient as we kind of work through some of these things. But we will get through it.
None of us have ever seen anything like this. This is history we're living through.
Nothing in our lifetimes to something to this extent, no. And it's going to be, again, there's going to be bumps in the road as we move along, and all we're asking for is patience. I'm also not only listening to questions and concerns. If somebody has any ideas that they think, or offer of help or whatever else they have, expertise that if they have, please pass it on.
And if they want to talk to you, you're here at Hyperion every morning.
I will be here every morning for the foreseeable future. And again, I've had a very good opportunity, chit-chatting with people, because one thing that seems to be consistent is everybody wants to get their morning coffee.
That doesn't change.
And I think one of the points made at the council, our council meeting, is back to the community effort. Is anything we can do to help our local businesses.
Yeah.
And from what I'm hearing from a lot of them is people are really stepping up and helping them out. And but as time goes on, that's going to potentially get harder and harder to do. So we will, as a city, have a role to play, and we are now getting a little bit better coordination with the state and the feds, and be hopefully giving some more direction. Biggest one I'm hearing from businesses, we understand that this is going to happen, but they would like to have some sense of a timeline, because again, they have to order food, they have to deal with their employees and leases and everything else, and they need to have a little bit more of an idea of how this is going to play out over time. And I think that's what we're working on now too.
Okay, well, thanks for what you do. This is. I never thought I would see. What was doing a city council meeting with your iPad the other day had to be rather different.
That was, getting used to. Usually I can just put my thumb up or my one finger up, and now I'm having to wave at the screen to get the mayor's attention. But no, the council is in communications. The staff is being very good now with communications to us. And again, we will, seeing this coming week, I think you'll see some changes and a little bit more direction coming out of, hopefully from everybody. But right now for us, it's trying to identify all the resources that we have available, understanding what the state and the feds are up to, and trying to channel that information and those resources where we need them. So I think we're starting to get in step. And again, if anybody has any ideas, comments, or concerns, please let us know.